Jonathan Kuminga is gone.
Account and make it go to work for you, and it's gone.
Jonathan Kuminga is going to be traded, I say, January 15th. Jonathan Kuminga is getting traded. This is not a monitor the situation. This is no longer they're listening to calls. He's gone. My educated guess is January 15th because that is the minute his contract allows it. And if you've been looking around, the tells and the signs are everywhere, especially the DNPs. The DNPs that have consistently happened are not just a Kerr Kuminga issue. These are games, so many that happened recently, they could have used them, but the one that tipped their hand for me was the Oklahoma City game when they were down to like 8, 9 damn players.
You still can't go in.
Could have at least put in 5, 10 minutes. There's no logical excuse other than asset protection that they did not want to play Jonathan Kuminga because they know they want to get rid of him as soon as possible. Jonathan Kuminga, fun fact, has only played 10 minutes of game since December 18th. Repeat that. 10 minutes played since December 18th. Many a times they could have used him. Do not think this is just an accident or just some feud between Kerr and Kuminga.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
There is zero basketball reason not to play him. However, there's front office reason because under NBA rules, just so you know, you can't execute this trade for Kuminga until January 15th. But you can discuss deals. You can make phone calls. You can agree to something in principle. You just can't file the paperwork yet. So if you're the Golden State Warriors and you have a deal lined up and you've been waiting on the calendar and waiting it to roll to January 15th, you just can't risk playing him if that's something you already know you're going to do. One rolled ankle, one twisted knee could blow this whole thing up and ruin a maybe opportunity for Warriors to make a nice little move to push Steph into maybe one last championship run. But when a player stops playing despite still being very useful, that's not coaching, that's asset protection. This is not rotation management. This is trade management. Jonathan Kuminga will be traded, and I say, educated guess, January 15th. I also want to point this out. It is not his fault, and it's not even really Kerr's fault.
It's not anyone's fault!
Jonathan Kuminga is just a little early in a team and a window that just can't wait for it. The reason Jonathan Kuminga has never fit and doesn't get played even before this much by Steve Kerr, it's not talent. I do not want to turn this into like a Kuminga hit piece or that I even think he needs to go. I can see why, though.
They don't fit together.
He didn't fail in Golden State, and he's not being traded because of lack of talent, lack of work ethic, lack of a good attitude, or lack of upside. This kid has averaged 16 points a game in 2024 and 2023, just in his 4th or 5th year, 23 years old. He is a very talented, hardworking kid from everything I've seen and everything I've watched. However, his game is freelance. His game is young. It doesn't work for Steve Kerr and a Warriors offense that runs a pre-decision ecosystem. I call it a wild horse. He has a wild horse game to himself. It's explosive, it's instinctual, it's emotional. In a pickup game, I'm sure he would actually look better than a lot of the players who contribute for the Golden State Warriors. That works on young teams. That does not work under Steve Kerr. Jonathan Kuminga still needs to trim the fat. That's basically the easiest way I can explain it to you. Jonathan Kuminga's game needs to have the fat trimmed. Every young star, a lot of them still need to learn this. When they get to the NBA, it's not high school, it's not college, it's not even the G League. Space is finite, time is finite, dribbles are expensive. These young players like Kuminga, and if you watch, you see it. He'll catch the ball. He'll then suddenly, okay, now what am I going to do? He'll pause, he'll look around, he'll start setting up the crossover, he'll start doing moves. Then he'll decide what to do. That is not an NBA offense. That is especially not a Golden State Warriors offense. That's an N1 mixtape. Golden State, their offense demands you have to know what you're doing. You have to read the defense. You have to make a decision before the catch. You have to move on from the catch and make your move immediately. 1 or 2 actions max. Anything else, that's fat. That's he needs to trim the fat. Less is more, and he needs to learn that somewhere else. There's plenty of examples of people who have figured it out in their young kind of fat phase. Jordan Poole's still there, but I think of like young Kobe, young Jordan, now LaMelo Ball. It's all sizzle. It's too much. They don't know what they're doing. There's only 24 seconds. There's only so much space in the NBA for defenses. You have to know what you're doing and make your move. You have to trim it. Think of like older versus younger Kobe. Think of MJ and his post-up game post his athletic 1988 years where he could just fly wherever he wanted to. Think of Jimmy Butler right now. Watch anytime Jimmy Butler, even in ISO, he gets the ball. He's not doing 28 dribbles and staring around. He's got the ball in his triple threat. He's looking at the defense. He's reading things. He's trying to make a decision as soon as possible. Kuminga's not wrong. Kuminga's early. That really is what this boils down to. He's not a bad kid. He's not untalented. I don't even really blame Steve Kerr in this situation. He needs to learn to trim the fat like a lot of young players do and take the nonsense out of his game. He needs to do it somewhere else. This trade was inevitable for a team that still thinks, and I think rightfully so, that they are in a win-now window. It's a timeline mismatch. So the biggest question that only needs to be answered, it's not that he's going to be traded, who might be traded with him? This is something Golden State fans, we should pay attention to.
Who's coming with me? Who's coming, man? Who's coming with me? Huh?
Who else could be traded with Jonathan Kuminga? Let's talk reality of the contracts. Now, remember, Golden State is in that upper high tax tier. They can only get back what they send out financially, meaning Jonathan Kuminga and his $22.5 million contract traded out by itself can only bring back $22.5 million.
You gotta be equal. Equals. 50-50, yeah.
They need to add one other person. It's the other one who hasn't been playing much lately. I think it's Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield is probably going to leave with Kuminga. I'm sad about it. I definitely miss the Jimmy Butler Buddy Hield connection if that was to be the case. I even playfully nicknamed them the Bud Buddies, Jimmy Butler and Buddy Hield. They seem like they weren't friends, but they actually are. It was kind of a fun nickname. I had fun with it. Moving on. It's going to be Buddy Hield. It's going to be Jonathan Kuminga together. That now gives you $31 to $32 million together. That's what they can now send out to bring back. The ones I don't think will be traded that you've heard about and rumored about, guys like Moses Moody. This might be a little more heart for me because he could technically be a nice piece as well. I don't think it's going to be him, though. They still need a solid two guard that fits the Kerr system. That's Moses Moody. Kerr trusts him. He fits the system. Very smart, very capable, does all things right. He's pretty cheap. He's very under control, a true professional. I think Moses Moody stays. The funny one to me is Draymond Green. Being all these fantasy trades, we're going to put Draymond Green with Jonathan Kuminga. Are y'all out of your mind?
Is that a joke?
This is how I know Warriors fans, as much as I love you and I'm one of you, you are truly delusional. Draymond Green is not going anywhere. Stop it. We're the only ones stuck with this asswipe until the day he retires. $26 million is what Draymond Green currently costs per year while his offense is declining, while he's still getting ejected left and right. Already 2 ejections this season, and even worse, as of late December, he actually had more turnovers than field goals.
Turnover ratio, abysmal.
So not only is he a continual jackass and a royal pain in the butt who's getting old and is expensive, late into the middle half of the season, he had more turnovers than field goals made as far as offensive production. No NBA front office in the world is taking on this jackass or his contract or that volatility or that age. Please cut the crap that anything involving Draymond Green is an actual thing that any team is going to want to bite on. You guys are out of your mind.
That will never happen.
Last one, Podziemski. It's interesting because finally Brandon Podziemski has warmed up to me, but only as a sixth man. I have now come to the conclusion I understand Pods' value and why I don't want him traded as an asset, which has been rumored, of course, in a lot of these mock trades that you see.
Sit on a bench. Sit on a bench.
As a sixth man, not a starter, Brandon Podziemski is actually very useful. His stats are almost exactly the same. The last 9 of 10 games where he's come off the bench and been able to be in the second unit more as a focal point, his stats are almost identical. And also worth mentioning why I don't think he'll be traded. Money. He's only worth $3.7 million. You don't get hardly anything back for that amount of talent. You don't bring any value back for a guy who really is a solid bench player, and that's where he belongs, and that's where he's playing great. He is way more valuable and very cheap to come off your bench. I don't see, other than enticing to try to get a player that maybe is kind of out of your league, you would add Podziemski at this point. And good news to Brandon. Shout out. I want Pods, if he's listening, to look at me. I did discover this as I've watched you and watched you grow over the last 10 games. Good news, bad news for Brandon Podziemski. You will never be Steph Curry. You are still an idiot for saying that out loud. Some people will try to say it's just you being confident. Cut the crap, be realistic. You will never be better or anywhere close to Steph Curry. Good news, you could be Manu Ginobili. And that is not a bad ceiling. Too many people get obsessed, and I get it. You're pro athletes with big egos. You want to think that you're going to be the top dog all the time. Be realistic and accept who you are. I think Jimmy Butler's done a great job of that. You look at him right now. He is so happy to be second to Steph Curry, having to have to deal with it all those years in Miami. He is so happy to make his money. He even said, "Don't even vote for me at the All-Star game. I want to go on vacation." Some people, as you get older, finally learn. Brandon Podziemski, you need to learn the fact that you will never be Steph Curry, and that's okay, because you could be Manu Ginobili. And there's nothing wrong with Manu Ginobili. Who also had similar stats like you off the bench, 13, 4-4, but he had 4 titles and is a Hall of Famer and all sorts of great accolades coming off as a sixth man. That is where you should be, and that is where you belong, and I don't think you should be traded. So, quickly, what are the 3 targets then that make sense? So now that I'm saying Kuminga's gone, I think they're adding Buddy Hield with him. What are the 3 targets that make sense as the Kuminga Hield package? The goal for me and everyone else that watches the Warriors is obvious. You need a center. You don't need a wing. You need tall people. And we do not need Anthony Davis. No. No more old. No more expensive. We need young, healthy, tall, rim-protecting finishers. First option, smartest option. The only problem is it's probably connected to if Giannis gets traded or not. Miles Turner. And I will also throw in, if you're a New York Knicks fan listening, you should pay attention to this too. We are both in the same window. It depends on Giannis being moved, but if they ever decide to move Miles Turner, that is actually the dream perfect option. Rim protector, floor spacer, low ego, big guy, 6'11", 29 years old, 14 points, 2 blocks, 36% from threes for his career, and you could do it straight up contractually. You could trade monetarily Kuminga for Turner, straight up, get it done. That's beautiful. It's kind of a pipe dream because it does rely on them having to want to trade Giannis. I don't think they would trade Turner unless they trade Giannis. The other one that has been rumored, and it's interesting to me, Daniel Gafford from Dallas along with Klay Thompson.
Why you bringing up old
I miss Klay. He's still inconsistent. He still has his problems, the whole Megan Thee Stallion thing. I don't know. I love Klay Thompson. I would love to see him back. But more importantly, I want to see Daniel Gafford come along with him if we can make this happen. Again, Kuminga and Hield and like a second-round pick for a 27-year-old center along with our old Splash brother. I think that'd be a lot of fun, and I'd be down for it. Daniel Gafford's a realistic one that has been rumored, and I like it. I even like bringing Klay with him. With or without, I would rather have him. But either way, Daniel Gafford would be the piece that could really work. And the third option, this is getting a little more maybe, but I like it too. Nick Claxton out of Brooklyn, not Michael Porter Jr. You do not need Michael Porter Jr. I don't want to hear about Michael Porter Jr. I'll explain it more later. But Nick Claxton, the 26-year-old, 6'11 center, very good defensively, switchable defensive anchor, raises the entire floor of the defense and the rim protection. He can catch lob threats, something the Warriors haven't had in a long time. Again, could be done for the same kind of package of a Kuminga, Hield, and a pick. And so that would be the other one I would look at. So I would go Miles Turner first, Daniel Gafford second, Nick Claxton third as reasonable trades that I think possibly, fingers crossed, one of those could happen soon. The other ones you've been hearing about, I don't want to hear about them, and I hope they don't happen, are wing trades from the Pelicans. They did rumor Trey Murphy or Herb Jones. Really? We only have 817 wings. We need 2 goddamn more.
Tell me likey. Tell me want wingy.
That does not make sense to me. Michael Porter Jr., as much as I do like MPJ, same thing, 2 problems, not just a wing, an expensive wing, not to mention an injury-prone wing for honorable mention, but at $38 million, you would have to add too much to that package to even get him here to do something he doesn't even really, I think, fit what the Warriors need. Now, the most rumored has been the Sacramento Kings, so I will throw them in here quickly because I would love Sabonis, and what a beautiful kind of full circle story of Sabonis showed up in Golden State after those years of battling in between the playoffs the last few years. I think he'd be a fantastic fit, but once again, too expensive for the trade package that I'm proposing. It would need a third team. It would be kind of complicated, so we can keep our fingers crossed for that as maybe a possibility because the Kings really do want Kuminga. Problem is they don't have anything we want.
You have nothing I want.
Malik Monk is not on their wish list. Even a Murray, I don't know, will really be on their wish list. Sabonis would be the only one. It would require a very complicated trade and most likely a third team. And last thing, just for Warriors fans to understand, anything we do here, and it's going to happen, Kuminga's going to be traded, please understand it's got a chance, but it's got a Dumb and Dumber chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Do you know what I'm saying? Like this, making a move mid-season has only worked out a handful of times to where they were able to win either that year or the year after. Mid-season blockbuster trades almost never win titles the same year. I do think Golden State is in that category, but I don't, give it a lot of, I want to see it done. It's going to happen. I just don't know if it's actually going to make that big a difference. So 3 times it worked was in 1989, Detroit Pistons traded for Mark Aguirre and were able to win a title after meddling the start of that season. Also in the same team, Detroit Pistons 2004 did the same thing once again, this time with Rasheed Wallace, who was the missing piece for a nice core of veterans. And in 1995, Houston Rockets were able to add Clyde Drexler in a trade. So those are the 3 times that it's ever actually come to fruition of making a at least mid to big trade mid-season actually brought a championship in the same year. Honorable mention will be 2008 Lakers. Pau Gasol, they made the finals but didn't win it until the next season. That's the other one there. But still, that's only a handful of teams that have pulled this off.
Reeks of desperation.
I just think that you could put Golden State in that category because those were great teams that had clear roles and really were only missing one piece. I put Golden State there. In a year where a lot of the NBA, there's a lot of things kind of jumping around here, injuries and things like that, and a lot of question marks. I think if you gave this Kuminga spot, which we are not using, and added a young, tall, actually decent center to this roster, they have a puncher's chance, just like they had last year before Steph pulled his hamstring, of making a Western Conference Finals run. So final verdict, Kuminga is gone. I don't think they'll win a title this year making the trade, but the trade is going to happen. Who will it include? I say Buddy Hield rather than a Moses Moody, who I think is more useful and shouldn't be traded yet. Draymond Green is an expensive pain in the ass who has more turnovers than field goals made. He ain't going nowhere. Kuminga and Hield will come together for $30-something million to hopefully get maybe a Miles Turner, a Nick Claxton, a Daniel Gafford, a Sabonis would be a pipe dream. I don't know if it's going to work, but once again, it's going to happen, and it's going to happen soon.
Tricky Guy Sports.
Full episode online now. Click on the link. Get to the chopper. Do it now.